Hello, I'm Keith Spera from NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. Welcome to Let's Talk. New Orleans is not known for its guitar heroes, but my guest today is certainly one of them. As a founding member of the Meters, he helped define New Orleans funk with Sissy Strut, Just Kiss My Baby, Fire on the Bayou, and many other classic singles. In 1971, he recorded an acoustic album that was never released. The master tapes disappeared. Miraculously, those tapes resurfaced 50 years later in a California flea market, and that long-lost acoustic album, Another Side, finally came out in 2021. Here to talk about all that and more is Leo Nocentelli. Leo, welcome to Let's Talk, sir.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
So I have to share this anecdote with you. This past summer, I was in Sydney, Australia. I walked into the lobby of the Glenmore Hotel, and what was playing but a Meter song, all the way on the other side of the world. A few months later, I go to the Red Bar in Great Beach, Florida, bands on stage playing Sissy Strut.
Yeah.
The Meters music continues to go all over the world. I mean, what an amazing legacy that is.
Yes. And it's a special feeling, you know, when I wrote the song, I had no idea it was going to be as widespread and people would even know it, you know, because we were playing at the Ivanhoe.
On Bourbon Street?
On Bourbon Street, you know, and it was a song called Hold It that everybody opened up their set with. And I got tired of playing it, you know, so I had a melody in my head, so I introduced it to Art, George, and Zig.
And that's Art Neville, George Porter Jr., Zig Boumalis, the drummer.
Zig Boumalis, or Zig Boumalis, or Joseph Boumalis.
Or Joseph,
I better do him some right.
Exactly, the formal name.
Yeah, so we started opening up our set with this melody I showed him. So didn't think nothing of it. It wasn't even the name at all. So guy, great producer and an admirer of mine, named Alan Toussaint, you know, frequent the place, and he heard us playing, and we went in the studio, and that wasn't the first one we recorded, but that was the main one was concentrated on was Sissy Strut, and but like I said, there wasn't any name for it, and we went and recorded it, man, and I think the name came from out of a hat. It was like a dance, you know, it's the sophisticated Sissy, and so we called it Sissy Strut. And the song came out and sold 250,000 copies in 2 weeks.
Jeez, and it was just literally because you were tired of playing the other intro music at the Ivanhoe, and it came with that. Can I do it? Dun 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 dun.
I'm higher. Look out, huh?
You don't want me anywhere near your stage.
Hated this, man.
You don't want me anywhere near a stage. No, that's an incredible legacy, and that's one of the beautiful things about the Meters is that in those days, I mean, you guys were just playing music. I mean, there wasn't a grand plan or anything like that. I mean, you guys were just playing what felt right at the time, and this incredible sound.
Yeah, in actuality, we were playing like top 40 stuff. You know, the name of the band was Art Neville and the Neville Sound. Mm-hmm. Like we were the Neville Sound, and it was Art Neville heading the band, and there wasn't no original things we were playing. Just top 40 song that Art felt like he wanted to sing, you know, so that's what that was, and we played at the Ivanhoe for almost 3 years, man, like that, and right after that, right after we recorded Sissy Strut, man, that's when the nightmares started.
That's when the nightmare started. I mean, the Meter stories have been told many times. I mean, you guys went through some craziness over the course of the years. Yeah. But along the way, y'all still managed to make incredible records. I can't believe that Rejuvenation just celebrated its 50th anniversary in 2024. I mean, my gosh, Just Kiss My Baby, Ain't No Use.
Yeah.
Those songs are 50 years old and still sound so fresh.
Yes, man, it's a phenomenal record, man. You know, I personally spent a lot of time on that particular record, and I'm very proud of it, and the rest of the guys are proud of it also. And we went out, George and I, actually the ones that was around to represent it with doing some tours. We did some sold out. Everywhere we played was sold out. All the theaters and the festivals was all. Mainly the theaters was sold out, man. That people just remembered that record, and we celebrated. It was sort of like the Kennedy Honor Center, man. It's like here you got dumpster funk, which is hit people within themselves.
Ivan Neville,
playing the Meters songs, and it was the honor to see that, and it was a special feeling that made me appreciate those songs even more.
Absolutely. Another great Meters record, Fire on the Bayou. The cover of the record was taken. The picture was taken of you guys in I think a Chaffalaya basin somewhere in the swamp.
Yeah. We were almost ate up that day by mosquitoes, man. It took me a whole week to recover from that. Yeah.
Didn't you say you had like chiggers or something got on you?
Everything, man. I didn't feel it at the time, but after a day or so, I said, "What is this?" And everything was start crawling on me, and marks start coming on my body. And actually, I went to the doctor, and he told me that's what it was. Get chigger bites.
Talk about suffering for your art.
Yeah, hey, you got to.
Wasn't there some snake? That was Cyril told a story about a snake was out there and you guys tried to climb a tree or something to get away from the snake?
Oh, yeah, we kept running, man. Every time we stood still, we were always looking around us because that's how desolate that place was.
Well, I mean, it's a great record. Fire on the Bayou's on it, talking about New Orleans. One of my favorite Meter songs, I think one of the ones that a lot of people around town know for years, They All Asked For You.
Yeah.
Which was just like kind of a silly song that, didn't y'all hear like Danny Barker's band used to do it or something, some version of that song?
Yeah, I think that the significance of that, where we were just playing the actual chord progressions of that song, and actually Zig came up with the lyrics, the monkey's ass, the tiger's ass, and the elephant asked me too, and they equated that ASS, it equated ASK.
Asked.
Yeah,
yes,
asked. And I think that was the thing that kind of got the people, and it's the elephant's ass, and we didn't write it out like that on the album.
Right.
It was AZZ.
AZZ, like Juvenile would do many years later, which is back that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that record, man, they put it out as a single, and it just took off. As a matter of fact, people say, "Yeah, I know." You say, "I'm with the Meters." So, you with the Meters? Yeah. So I said, when I mentioned Parkway, yeah, they know that. When I mentioned Fire on the Bayou, they know that. But when I mentioned They All Asked For You, they like want to grab me, Everybody's excited about that particular record more than anything, I think, down, especially in Louisiana.
Yeah, no, it's such a fun record. I mean, I remember hearing it as a kid growing up. I was like, oh, that's such a great thing. And
Novelty's kind of song.
Exactly. Well, sometimes novelty hits, it's a good thing to have,
I'll take it.
If you're just tuning in, my guest today is guitarist Leo Nocentelli from the Meters. Now, we mentioned in the intro this acoustic record that you put out in 2021, Another Side. Of all the things you've been through in the music industry, was the fact that this album exists at all one of the biggest miracles? I mean, my gosh, the story of how this came to be is incredible.
It's all spiritual, man. That's why I look at it, when the way it happened, I mean, it's a kind of a lengthy process. If I could say it, I will.
Well, let me back you up first. When you first recorded it in 1971, at the time, the Meters had done some records for Josie. That deal had gone away, right?
Went defunct, yeah.
Right,
and it was instrumental. The first 3 Meters records was instrumental records. So after it went defunct, I started listening to James Taylor, kind of acoustic country funk kind of thing, and so I went to pick up a couple of albums by him, Sweet Baby James and Mudslide Slim, and because he was doing chord progression that I never was aware of, and then he was writing lyrics and telling stories, which I was just a funk instrumental writer. So I said, man, I want to write something like that. So I wrote 10 songs like that and went in the studio, Cosmo Studio, on Camp and Julia, and recorded 10 songs, man. But all of that track, all of this album actually were like when you tell the engineer, say, look, make me a copy, guys. That was it, a 7-inch copy, 7.5-inch copy. It was nowhere near finished, so far as I was concerned. And it went through all the process of the Katrina and decades passed, 2-3 decades passed, and people finally finally bought Sea Saint, and they said, well, look, we're not going to throw it away because it was on the sidewalk. Yeah.
Well, right. Let me back you up. So you recorded it though. Then you kind of put it on a shelf. The Meters ended up getting signed with division of Warner Brothers. So then you guys got busy with that, and you basically forgot about this record.
Yes, I forgot about it completely.
The tapes sat in Alan Toussaint's studio, Sea Saint, for many, many years with hundreds of other tapes.
Over 40 some years.
Yeah, for 40 some odd years. They sit on the shelf, forgotten. Katrina happens. Bottom floor of the studio floods. These tapes happen to be on the second floor. The guy who owned the studio at the time sent another guy to come collect what he could from the second floor. Those boxes of stuff get shipped out to California. They end up in a storage unit. The storage unit gets foreclosed on. Foreclosed on. So a guy that operates like a flea market stall, buys these boxes of tapes, 673 tapes, buys them.
Matter of fact, specifically it was Mike Nikita with the Beastie Boys.
Guy who was associated with the Beastie Boys, exactly.
Yeah,
so
So he bought them, and he called me up one day and said, "Man, listen, I have a tape for you." I said, "What?" And I still didn't recognize him when he started mentioning the title. I said, "What?"
You've forgotten all about it.
I said, "You have that tape, man?" I didn't even remember the songs or nothing, except the titles. So he said, "I'm gonna send it to you, Leo," and he sent it to me. And little did I know that he had played the tape to a record label called Light in the Attic Records, and they loved it. They loved it, man. After all those years, they loved it, and they called me up and said, "Look, we want to make a deal with you, Leo." So they gave me some money, and the record came out about a year and a half ago, and they can't keep the record in the stores.
Well, no. I mean, it's a great record. I mean, it looks good. I mean, I've got here on the desk the special edition purple, green, and gold vinyl copy. I mean, that is beautiful. I'm not quite sure how they even managed to manufacture it with the colors separated like this.
So they thought really highly of the record, and what it said, and the performance on it. They thought really highly of it.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, to give it this kind of rollout, and I remember when it first came out, there was a delay initially because vinyl printing presses, it's hard to get LPs printed nowadays because there's so much demand once again for vinyl. So you guys, it took a minute to get it pressed, but once they got it pressed, like you said, it's been selling really well.
Yeah, they can't keep them in the stores, man. Yeah.
I mean, just imagine all the little twists of fate that had to happen for this record, like to come out. Like the tapes weren't the ones that got flooded. They got sent to California. The thing was foreclosed. The storage unit was foreclosed. They could have been all thrown out at some point. But the right guy bought them, put them at the flea market, and then Mike Nishida from the Beastie Boys.
It could have been somebody. It could have been someone that not even was into records or tapes.
Right.
It just happened to be that person saw it. I mean, if nobody didn't buy the tapes or had some interest in it, the flea market would have probably just threw it away. Said, "We can't sell it. It's no good. We can't do nothing with it." But it just so happened that the guy saw the tape. So if he didn't see it and recognize it, I probably wouldn't be sitting there talking about this.
That's right. We wouldn't be talking about it.
It's all spiritual, man. It's all nothing earthly about what's happening.
Well, in that trove of material, I think it was 673 tapes, but it was old Irma Thomas stuff, Dr. John. Apparently, it was the Black Samson soundtrack that Alan Toussaint had done. It was all these incredible pieces of New Orleans music history that were almost lost. And I mean, and that other stuff hasn't really come out yet, but maybe some of that will come out sometime.
I don't know what kind of deal. There was quarter-inch masters of the Meters and a bunch of other artists that Alan produced. I don't really know exactly what happened to those. I don't know if Reggie, Alan's son, if Reggie got a hold of them and they had plans for them. I really don't know. I have to find out what happened to those, but I know what happened to mine.
It's sitting right in front of us on a record. If you're just tuning in, my guest today is guitarist Leo Nocentelli of the Meters. Now, on another side, it's mostly original compositions with the exception of a cover of Elton John's Your Song, which you did. And you're telling me now that your version of that song has just been licensed for a TV show?
Yeah, a TV show, called
Brilliant Minds. Brilliant Minds,
yeah. And the significance of that, man, is that there was a cover of Elton John, and I thought really highly of Elton, or else I wouldn't have covered it. But they want to use my version in the TV series. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Well, you got no complaints about that, right?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Because I think those pay nice, don't they? TV shows.
I got several more you could use. Me cover some of the other people.
You didn't really sing with the Meters. So what inspired you to sing on this record? I mean, it was just the inspiration of James Taylor and all these other guys?
Yeah, I got some inspiration from James Taylor. It was, I didn't think I could ever feel like that or write any songs in that kind of genre, but when I heard his stuff, I just came automatically in my head, and I bought me an acoustic guitar, and it just fell into place. It just felt like it was something right for me to do.
And you felt comfortable doing it. And now that you're performing these songs, you've done it a couple times. You've done it at Jazz Fest. You've done some other special shows playing the music from Another Side specifically. how does it feel to be up there like singing in front of a crowd instead of just playing on guitar?
Well, I did maybe 4 gigs, on it, like a little tour, but I never really toured with it. Mm-hmm. This is a reintroduction of the record live, so that's what people gonna hear. How does it feel? It felt good. I usually kind of acclimate myself to whatever situation I'm in. If it's, I just become a part of that automatically. I don't know why, but it just, whatever I do, I become a part of it and just act like I've been doing it for 10,000 years.
But you've been doing it a long time. Not quite that long.
Not quite that long.
Not quite that long, but it's been a long time.
But I'm looking forward to that night, man, in November to do it, and I think the people are gonna enjoy it when they come out to see it.
Right, that's the November 22nd show at over at the Orpheum Theater, right?
Yeah, and you mentioned 2 guys that's going to be on it. That's Ray Parker, Ghostbusters Jr.
Ray Parker Jr. from Ghostbusters fame.
Yeah, and Anders Osborne, Stanton Moore, Othello Neville. I mean, there's a few other people in the band, like I mentioned, but right there, man, Jason Neville is going to be singing background with it, and there's a great singer, female vocalist going to be singing in the background, and her name is Nocentelli.
Ah, I've met her.
Yeah.
Is that she, from what I understand, is the real hero of your story? Huh?
Oh, yeah,
She's the one that's kept you on the right track for all these years?
More than I am, yeah.
The real star of the show right there, your wife. If you just tuned in again, my guest today is guitarist Leo Nocentelli. Playing the songs from another side, seeing you with an acoustic guitar in your hands was a little unusual.
Crazy.
Crazy. Because you're a guy that wails on an electric. That's your signature thing.
I'm like a funk, rock kind of guy, But I coming up in New Orleans, that's the thing about New Orleans. When you're coming up as a musician, you have to learn how to play in order to survive. Play different kind of music. I would go from one gig to the other. I would go do a country and western gig. I would go do a R&B gig at that time. It wasn't called funk. Then I would go do a jazz gig. Mm-hmm. And you have to convert your chops. You have to think about it different. And I was always capable of doing that. And so I think I was always acclimated to be able to appreciate all genres of music. I find things in it that attracts me. I'm not a one-dimensional person.
No, and that is, I think, a hallmark of many New Orleans musicians. Is to be able to play many different things.
No doubt.
Because, like you said, back in the early days of the Meters, you guys were playing cover songs on Bourbon Street. Mm-hmm. Guys would do, horn players would do R&B gigs. They would do jazz gigs. You had to kind of be versatile to make it as a musician.
To survive.
Yeah, to survive. And I think even up until now, John Papagro, the keyboard player, he spent years playing at the Tropical Isle on Bourbon Street, and he talked about how there was no better training to be a musician because you had to play so much stuff, different stuff, and learn how to entertain a crowd.
Yeah, if you want to be a versatile musician, all you have to do, if you're serious, is move to New Orleans, and you become that.
And you become that. The back to the concept of the acoustic guitar versus the electric. The tattoos that you have on your hands, that feels more like something an electric guitar player would have. That's not acoustic guitar player tattoos on your hands.
No, it's a funk rock kind of guy, So in actuality, when I play acoustic, I cover them up.
Do you wear white gloves?
I wear white gloves, but I can't see them because if I look at them too hard, I'm gonna start bending strings on the acoustic guitar.
You don't want to do that. I got to say, it was brave of you to get tattoos on your hands. That's the source of your livelihood. So to have someone putting a needle on the delicate instruments that you need.
Yeah, it doesn't affect it too much, man. But it's really like these, especially the hand ones, man. Like it's like you got you got fat
on your forearm, right?
Yeah,
on your arm,
you got fat, man. But here you got like needle against bone.
Ow.
That's this is pretty. It hurts to do it like that. Matter of fact, I had to back off. I wanted them all over, but I said nope. That's it for me.
You'd had enough at that point.
That's it.
I understand. Going back, talk a little bit about the early evolution of your guitar style, because it was, it's considered revolutionary what you did on those early Meters records. That that kind of really slinky, clean sound. What were you listening to at the time that led you in that direction?
I really, quite honestly, don't know, man. It just You know, when I was writing those songs, like Palooka Pie Pie and Chicken Strut, Sissy Strut, it's just something that came out of me. You know, where it came from, I can't really put my finger. I had no training to write that. It just, you know, whatever that is me. You know, is Leo. You know, and that's all I could say. There's no particular area where that idea came from.
Right. There was no one thing that you had. Oh, I want to play like this.
Yeah.
It just was the evolution.
It just flowed out me. Just couldn't stop it up until this very day.
Well, and the magic of the meters, I think, was that sound combined with George Porter's bass, Art Neville's keys and organ, and then Zigaboo's drums.
Yeah.
There was something. It was one of those classic examples of the sum is greater than the parts, don't you think?
It was a magical thing that happened with us four. Because like I tell people, and I mean I was the most educated, scholastically educated person amongst us four to be able to write songs. You know, a lot of them didn't know the process. But I say this. If I would show them a melody, man, I would have to say that those melodies couldn't have been manifested themselves with Tom, Dick, or Harry.
It had to be
George, Art, and Zig. It just, you know, it wouldn't have happened, man. You know, so you know, I have to credit those guys, man. You know, for really putting what they, you know, was in their souls to make those records happen. I'm just thankful that, you know, that I had a chance. Now, you know, it just was a telepathy thing, man. Even now, you know, when George and I play together, you know, we could look at each other and know what the next guy is going to play before we even play it. You know, it's just a magical thing that you really can't explain. And that happened with all four of us on stage.
Well, and Art Neville passed away a few years ago, you know, after years of declining health. So the original four, you know, can never play again, obviously. And have to say, Cyril Neville came in and joined the latter part of the meters, and he kind of added a whole other element to the band with his vocals and his percussion. So those later records featured him as well. But the fact now that you're able to go on the road with guys like Ivan Neville, Art's nephew, playing keyboards, and sometimes with Stanton Moore from Galactic on drums, and keep that music alive, it seems important that somebody should still be playing that music, and it should be some of the guys that created it, as long as you're able to.
Yeah, and I long for that. You know, George, you know, I'm doing my thing, my own thing, George doing his own thing. And we've been doing things periodically, like the NOLA Fest, we did that, and then we got together to do the Rejuvenation thing, the Rejuvenation celebration. I'm in hopes that George and I don't stay in contact with Zig. I really don't know what's happening with him, you know.
And he's out. Okay, he lives in California, correct?
No, he just moved down here.
Oh yeah, he's back.
He's been down here for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
I don't really know what the situation is, but it would be a grand day, man, for people to see myself, George, and Zig on the stage, man, playing that, man. I long for that, you know. You know, some issues prevents it from happening. You know, I might do something with George, and then another thing it won't happen. You know? So there's have to be specific things. But I long for the time that we could just go back and forget about all the crap that went down, man, and go out and just make some music together, because I think we still got it. We still could do it.
Well, let's see, how old, Leo? Let's say
I'm 78.
78?
I don't mind saying that.
You don't mind saying, no, I'm not saying it, 78? So yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I put it like this. I tell people, when they say, how old are you? I say, not bad for 99, huh?
Look great for 99. Look great. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, at some point, I mean, you're in good health, you're able to tour, you're able to do it. At some point, you know, that window's going to close. So you want to, I think, from your standpoint, you want to do as much as you can while you still can, huh?
Yes. I don't know if I can mention this, but it's something that I'm getting ready to do that I'm real proud of, man. That's I'll say it anyway. You can bleep it out.
Well, we shouldn't say anything that the contracts aren't signed with yet. So
We'll
but
wait for that.
you may have some exciting things coming up.
Yeah, we'll say what I'm about to tell you. What I was going to tell you for your newspaper.
We'll say it for the newspaper. Exactly. But yeah, meanwhile, and we've only got a minute and a half left here. As you look back, and you said this, and everybody knows this. I mean, the Meters went through a lot of craziness, and a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. Can you look back now at that body of music you guys created, and if nothing else happened, you've got an incredible body of music that I'm sure you're proud of, huh?
Oh yeah, man. If there wasn't with that music, if there wasn't any negative things or any bad things that happened in the business, the business wasn't like it was. I think there probably would have been more music created that hasn't been created. I think this is a hell of a business that we're in. I mean, I can't lie and say it's not. I've been able to endure it for over 60 some years. That makes it possible for me to look at it and be able to benefit by it. But in the beginning, man, it's a messed up business, man. It is. My advice to young people out there is to, learn your craft but the most important thing, learn the business of what it is to be successful out here at an early age. Don't wait too late to do that, because too late might be too late.
Might be too late. Well, that is good advice. Another piece of advice might be, don't take a album cover photo shoot where you're going to get covered with chiggers and have to fight off snakes.
Mosquitoes and everything. Don't
avoid that. Don't take pictures in the swamps. Leo Nocentelli, this has been a great conversation. I wish you continued success with the Another Side record and all your other endeavors. So.
Well, man, look, the pleasure is mine always, Keith. You and I have always been, we've always had a rapport, man, a certain closeness. You've always given me shots, man, that anybody wouldn't, and I really appreciate you.
Well, my pleasure.
That's why I'm here.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for being here. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'm Keith Spera. We'll see you next time on Let's Talk.